Now that we know Sony is going to be shutting down last generation's PlayStation Store in a few months, you only have a limited time before you can buy all of those PS3 and Vita games that only release digitally. And believe me, there's a huge library of games on there. But this is not the same as a game being delisted, where you can re-download the game even after the store shuts down. Although right now that is still possible. No, there is something more troubling when it comes to the hardware where you store all of these digital-only games. As pointed out in a few places, the PS3 and possibly the Vita uses a CMOS battery that's used to store all the digital rights, DRM for short, to the games that you bought digitally. Eventually, that battery will die, and when it does, all of your rights to play the game will die with it. The PS3 has to check with the PlayStation server again to see if you actually have the right to play the game. Normally, this is done with the battery, but without it, you're at the mercy of the servers at Sony. Eventually, those servers will go down as well, and all of your digital games will no longer be able to be played. Even changing the battery before then will only delay the inevitable. I can only imagine how much money I spent buying up a digital library of games because the sales were just too good to pass up. Maybe if it is too good to be true, it really is. Because if something isn't done, many PS3 owners will be left with a hard drive full of games that they can't play. Now there is a possibility of jailbreaking the console, but I'm not too knowledgeable about those things. But I hope there is a way of bypassing the console DRM checks, so it'll allow us to play the games we legally bought. And this is a big problem with the industry. You should be able to play the games that you legally bought at any time you wish. No wonder there is piracy in the gaming industry. Pirates can play the game without worry about digital servers blocking them from a game that they own. And I know that people buy the game that they pirate just so they can make sure it's always available for them to play. And that's not even to mention people saving these games for archival purposes. We can't hope that companies can always retain the rights so that they can eventually re-release these old games. Yay, so we have to re-buy them again. I bought Scott Pilgrim even though I had it on PS3 because I wanted to have multiple copies on multiple systems. It beats having to set up the PS3 all over again just to play one game. But gee, I'm glad I did because now it'll definitely not be playable on the PS3 one day. But why do companies create hardware designed to fail? Is this on purpose? Is it planned obsolescence? Why is the hardware reliant on a battery that'll eventually die out? This reminds me of the Sega Saturn. It also used the CMOS battery just to save games internally. It was a neat idea for the time, but as soon as your battery died, all of your game data went with it. So long, Guardian Heroes. I'm not playing another 100 hours to build up the roster again. Thankfully, that game did have a re-release on the Xbox 360. Digitally. So who knows when that will be erased from existence as well. And side note, do you still have an original Xbox? You might want to open that thing up and check the capacitors. Apparently, they explode and destroy your whole system. Great job, Microsoft. So all I have to say is that digital gaming is a scam unless you have the ability to play them without DRM. Good Old Games is a great place to buy games for PC, since you don't have to deal with a lot of the nonsense. Other than that, you're gonna have to get creative in where and how you acquire games. These companies don't respect you as a consumer, and gaming has become disposable. Maybe it's always been that way, but it's more so now than ever. Digital gaming is fast becoming the way of the future, and it's terrible.